In fact, let's welcome in our guests for the afternoon, joined by Rajesh Satpathy of LFS Broking. Also have with us Pankaj Karde of Systematix Shares. Rajesh, just want to get your view on the Nifty. Like Piyush was saying, we're looking at a positive weekly close after, after a while. We're going to see that probably. And considering the sort of good, strong moves that we've seen so far in the week, this kind of consolidation probably justified. Where do you see the index going from here?
I think we did discuss this when Nifty hit 10,000. I was expecting a target of 10,280 to 10,300. If you look at the options data, I think 10,000 put is more active and 10,500 call is more active. And 10,300 is the median, or you can say this is a maximum pain point. Yesterday, we got a close about 10,300. I think market is poised for a short covering rally. You may see a consolidation, but as far as the levels are concerned, I think the bias should be positive, about 10,270. Immediate hurdle or the supply point will be at somewhere like 10,340. About 10,340, I think Nifty will move back towards 10,480 to 10,500 mark. So bias is definitely positive for us.
Pankaj, what's your view? I mean, we've reclaimed 10,200, then 10,250, held on to 10,300, even as the global sentiment turned a little cautious. Does that give you some sentiment booster that, yes, possibly another 200, 250 point rally is possible from these levels?
Yeah, I personally feel that Nifty can see around 10,500, 10,600 levels at this point of time. We have seen on a technical side, we have seen an inverted head and shoulders being formed, and it gave a strong pullback from around 10,100 levels to around, it's now trading 10,300 odd. So we believe that Nifty can see 10,500, 10,600 predominantly backed by some pullback happening in the bank Nifty. And but then that remains a short-term target for us.
All right. In fact, what is the view then on the bank Nifty? Because considering the sort of moves we've seen recently, it's still a bit of a laggard. We're seeing, a positive move in today's day of trade, up about 0.2% on the bank Nifty. But what are the key levels really that you're watching for it?
So we have seen that there has been a lot of issues that we have seen in the public sector banks and things like that. Overall as a house, we believe that there has been a lot of buying action that we will see from stocks which are non-corporate. So predominantly HDFC Bank, IndusInd Bank, Yes Bank, Kotak Bank, and to an extent RBL Bank. We believe that these are the stocks that we would see some positive action. At the same time, ICICI Bank looks on the valuation wise, it looks more attractive, but things hovering around the bank in terms of asset quality, at this point of view, you might see some amount of correction, more correction, but on the valuation side, we believe that ICICI Bank is fairly poised. We are not too bullish on the public sector banks at this point of time, but in case if you want to have a bet on the public sector bank, we would ideally see, we would recommend buying into Bank of Baroda or SBI.
All right. So the larger PSU banks is where to keep the focus. Otherwise, private banks remain the pick. Expect some volatility, though, of course, with the sort of news flow that we've been seeing in these counters. That said, if we talk about the mutual fund space, mutual fund investors continuing to repose faith in fund managers. This is in spite of the sharp correction and volatility that we've seen in the equity markets. Fund investors continue to pour money into mutual funds, though slightly lower than the previous months. The net inflows into equity funds for March 2018 are quite encouraging. In fact, if you take a look on your screen, we've done quite well as far as the last 3 months goes, slightly less than before, though, Deep.
Absolutely. And as expected, investors have invested more in tax-saving funds or ELSS. They've reduced the investments in diversified and pure equity funds. However, they have preferred to invest in ETFs over exchange-traded funds over anything else. And that's quite normal in months like these. So that's the kind of data that's also reflecting on your screen right now. It is a big change on a month-on-month basis, but this is something that happens in and around tax-saving season as well. So mutual fund, the big takeaway there, then mutual fund inflows have slowed down, but they continue to remain steady, and it has been a very good year, last 18 months rather, for the mutual fund industry as far as equity inflows goes. Of course, that bar chart gives you a bit of a different perspective, but this is on expected lines, although there has been some rationalization as far as the inflow picture goes. We'll take a very short break here. Don't go anywhere. Rajesh, Pankaj are with us. We'll discuss some stock ideas with them. Also focus in on some buzzing stocks of the day. Back in 2 minutes. Welcome back. You're tuned into the trading day. Let's get some trading ideas then. Rajesh, you go first. Give us a couple of stocks that are on your radar right now. You like a couple of pharma names as well, and mid-cap IT is also something that you're preferring.
Deep, as we recommended, I think Lupin, Oro, those are my favorite, and Sun Pharma at this level. Maybe you can see a dip of 10-15 rupees. Just to reiterate my view on Aurobindo Pharma, I think we are still recommending to go long. Your stop loss has to be at 595 and your target is 660 positionally. And to add one more, I think out of PSU, SBI looks good to me. The price pattern what we see here is an inverted head and shoulder price formation, and the breakout level is 255. So the idea is to go long about 255. Your stop loss has to be at least 10 rupees from below 255, and your positional target, maybe you can say for this expiry, should be 280.
All right, so a couple of picks there from Rajesh. In fact, Pankaj, you liked SBI as well, but what is the view that you have on a few other stocks that you're keeping on the radar? Any picks that you can share with us?
We recently had an event on the real estate, and that is one sector that we believe has been ignored by the institutional investors so far, but there has been a lot of action that has been seen. We have been seeing a lot of action that is coming up in the affordable housing space. We believe that Kolte Patil is one stock that is one of our top bets in that space. It is a very niche player in the Pune region, and it has been continuously now getting in markets in Bangalore, and they have now got into Mumbai as well. So we believe that Kolte Patil is it's around 60% of its total sales is coming from affordable housing, and we have been witnessing a cash flow generating company for last 5 years with a debt to equity at very comfortable levels, and Mumbai market picking up for them. Around 1.4 million square feet is coming up in Mumbai for them. I think this is one of the stocks that you need to watch out for. It is currently trading at less than one time NAV. Its NAV is around 435 rupees and the stock is trading at around 330 odd. We believe that it deserves a one-time NAV at least. So we have been fairly bullish on the stock and we have a buy on the stock.
Right. In fact, real estate as a whole has been one of the top, in fact, the top performing sectoral mover today. The south-based players have especially been doing well. So pull up, of course, Sobha, which is the top one over there, off the highs of the day, but nonetheless, it's a 7% gain that's come in on that one. Prestige Estates, Brigade Enterprises has also done well. Kolte Patil was the stock that Pankaj was mentioning about. Also pull up Oberoi Realty, because that too was up in the morning the last time I checked. So real estate as a basket has been up and about in trade, and then some of these names of course have been the big ones in focus. Anything that you like over here, Rajesh, as far as real estate names goes, especially something like a Sobha, which is clearly the stock of the day from the mid-cap universe?
Not exactly, Deep. That is not the sector which I'm really fond of, because I have burned my finger many times. So nothing in particular.
All right. A couple of other stocks, Rajesh, that we were just talking about on the top of the show. Jubilant Foodworks, once again, fresh life highs for this one. I think that 2428 level is the new high for that one. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And with that, Dilip Biltcon, what are the views that you have on both these counters?
See, I think we too initiated a buy call when it was trading at 2,150 odd level, and I was expecting a target of 2,400. At current level, definitely going long will be slightly difficult for me, because when you get your target, you tend to book your profit rather than creating fresh long. So if someone wants to hold long, then that's a different story altogether. Your stop loss has to be at 2,380 odd level, and your target, maybe you can trail for the target of 4 to 5% here from here onwards.
All right. Let's also pull up a couple of other stocks in and around the consumption areas that have been in focus. Pull up a Titan first. It's not had a very strong week. This is the week that Titan got included in the Nifty, mind you. There's been a lot of excitement around the stock. Let's pull up a 5-day chart on Titan. I think for the first 4 days of this week, the stock was under pressure, even as the market strength persisted. There you go. But today, it's reversed all of those losses, and now again for the weekly move, it's moving into positive territory. Rajesh, what's the call on Titan? Bit of a consolidation before another up move?
It looks like that because see, if you remember last time when we discussed, it was at 870 odd level, and I was expecting a target of 950. From 950, 960 odd level, it again came back to that 900 odd mark. I think this is a zigzag formation, and if I'm not wrong, if things go well, I think the Titan will hit 1000 marks. So if someone wants to take an aggressive call at this level, your stop loss has to be at 920 odd levels.
All right, fair enough. So that's the view as far as a Titan goes. Pankaj, you have on your list one of these retail names that have been that has been buzzing, V2 Retail. In today's day of trade, we're also seeing a trend, seeing gains of nearly 6%, I think, as we speak. What is the rationale here for a V2 Retail? Do you like the space overall, or is this in particular stock that you have in focus?
So V2 Retail is one stock that has been there in apparels, and they're primarily into tier 3 and tier 4 cities. So what if you see the dynamics, geography, and how the country is moving, people have been moving from unorganized retail to organized retail, and V2 Retail has been a pioneer in actually moving retail to tier 3, tier 4 cities. This is one company which is actually having zero debt on their books. They have got the highest per square feet realizations at around 960 rupees. Plus their margins are around 10%, is also highest in the industry. They have been continuously growing in terms of the number of stores that they are putting. We have been seeing a lot of action in terms of volumes, and we believe that the segment in tier 3, tier 4 cities will see more and more action coming in. What changes is the thought process of an average Indian who wants to move to an AC outlet to buy clothes. They want more products at a cheaper valuation. So V2 Retail gives them the look, feel, everything that an average tier 3, tier 4 city person wants. And at the same time, the company is well managed. The numbers are very attractive. They're growing at a fairly decent pace, and that is why we have a buy on V2 Retail. Our target price remains at around 550 rupees.
All right, 550 is the target on a V2 Retail. Looking good from the retail space. Let's also talk about the big large cap mover in trade today, and that clearly has to be a Lupin. 3.5% up on that counter. Again, this one has also cooled off from the highs of the day, but nonetheless, a strong move coming in on a Lupin. Remember, the Pithampur unit was inspected by the US FDA, and that's been cleared, but this is only unit 1 that we're talking about. It didn't have any regulatory overhang per se from the US FDA, so this was just a normal inspection, and the unit was found to have no issues. We are awaiting the movement on unit 2 and unit 3, where there is a form 483. So it's important development, but of course the bigger one will be when the unit 2, unit 3 clearance comes in. But nonetheless, Rajesh, this is a stock that you've had on your radar for a while now. In fact, I think with today's move, your target, the recent target, has been met as well. Yeah. Would you now like to revise that? And for someone looking to enter fresh, would you advise that?
I think it's time to book your profit and wait for a correction. I don't see any hurry to enter Lupin at current level. If I'm not wrong, Deep, we did recommended this counter when it was at 730, 35 odd level, and I was expecting a target of 830 to 840. That is the target area which I was expecting. See, positionally, what I can say is that 880, 85 will be the target. But from current level, I'm expecting a consolidation, maybe some softness, some profit taking in near days. Maybe within a week's time, maybe at least 4 to 5 days of trading session, you will see a subdued kind of move in Lupin, where Lupin can again slide back to that 780 or maybe 790 odd level. I think that will be the time where we will take a contra bit again.
All right, so book out of Lupin, 780 levels is where you can look to re-enter once again, and I think Rajesh's pick from the pharma space remains an Aurobindo Pharma with a target of 660. Pankaj, any view that you have on pharma at the moment? We're seeing the clearances and observations from the US FDA really pick up in terms of pace, and that's leading to these sort of volatile moves that we're seeing in individual stocks. But overall, any view that you have, any favorites here?
We overall, as a house, we believe that any pharma company which is having a market in US at this point of time is going to be very volatile. We as a house, we like some pharma stocks, but overall we believe that pharma like Aurobindo or a Sun Pharma, who has got a decent set of US business, is going to be volatile, because the 483s or the US FDA inspections that are coming and the observations that are coming right now, there is no clarity on when you will see an earning based impact. So at this point of time, we would not recommend really going long onto any of these pharma stocks. Although fundamentally on a valuation wise, Aurobindo remains a good stock for us. We have a buy on Aurobindo.
All right, so Aurobindo is a stock that is bullish on. So technically also Rajesh has given a call on that counter. His target is at 660 at the highs of the day on an Aurobindo right now. In fact, markets are also now at the highs of the day. 10,350 is what the Nifty is now approaching. So a spike coming in. It is the second half of the day that again has been very, very active. And this is what we've been noticing all through this week. It's the second half trading activity that usually dominates the day as far as trading is concerned. And you've had after policy yesterday especially, there was a strong surge that came into the markets, and you are seeing a similar surge that began about 15-20 minutes ago that is playing out right now. Point wise, contributors to the market up move, HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank are the top contributors at this point. Reliance Industries providing some support as well. ITC is on the move. BPCL, Titan, Maruti, HDFC and Tata Motors are some of the other contributors that we have in trade right now. The IT pack though is slightly under pressure. Infosys and HCL Technologies are under pressure. In fact, HCL started the day positive, has made a new acquisition. There were a couple of positive brokerage notes as well, but that move hasn't really sustained. TCS and Wipro also not seeing much of a move right now, but the mid-cap IT space is doing well. We highlighted Emphasis at the start of the show to you as well. And Rajesh, you have a couple of calls as far as the mid-cap IT space goes. What do you like right now?
My favorite, three are my favorites: Hexaware, HCL Tech and Mindtree. Adding to that, Tata Elxsi. I think Hexaware did well. It did achieve the target. Now there are two fresh breakouts which is on chart. First is Mindtree and the second is Tata Elxsi. If you look at Mindtree, I think it's a clear-cut falling wedge formation breakout. That's a bullish formation. It's a continuation of the pattern. The trend is up. I think Mindtree is getting ready to hit a new high. So one can definitely go long in Mindtree. The idea is to buy above 830 with a stop loss of 810, and your targets slightly positional will be 874. Second buy call will be on Tata Elxsi. See, it's on the verge of a breakout. 1010 should be the level which one should use to go long. Your stop loss should be at least 30 rupees. That is 1070 is the stop loss, and your target is 1100 mark.
All right, so a couple of calls there from Rajesh as well. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes, continue talking about all the buzzing stocks in trade at the moment, and bring you a couple of stories that we've been tracking through the day. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the trading day right here on BTVI. The Nifty holding up with gains of 0.2%. We're above that 10,300 mark. In fact, just short of 10,350. We just hit that mark a few minutes ago, but trading around 10,345 for the moment. Bank Nifty too, I think near the highs of the day, seeing gains of about 0.6% at the moment. Just short of that 24,900 mark as far as the Bank Nifty goes. So that's really what's pulling up the index as we speak. Broader end of the market continuing to do well, outperforming the index. 0.8% gains coming in for the mid caps and small caps. In fact, let's also welcome in Jay Gupta of Moneylicious Capital. Jay, good afternoon. Good to have you on. It seemed like a day of consolidation, but we're seeing this movement come in the second half after that strong rally that we saw in the last hour of trade yesterday as well. It's been a good week after a few weeks of negative closes for the index. What's the view on the market at the moment? We had some good news, I think, at least for the banking space, select pockets from the RBI yesterday. But looking ahead, earnings just around the corner, what is the expectation?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. See, my view would be to be cautiously optimistic from here on, because we have seen, on the domestic front, a lot of positive news flows, normal monsoon. Yesterday's RBI, guidelines were also pro-market. But we also have to take into account the international markets, what's in store there, because we never know. That's why I want to be cautiously optimistic. China, US trade war, if you see anything on the global front could disrupt the market. So my theme for Indian markets would be to buy companies which have less exposure to international exposure, I would say. So theme would be consumption, primarily on the domestic front. And we have seen in this, fall, the companies which have been focusing on the domestic consumption story, they have all done well, be it Bajaj Finance or, Piramal Enterprise or LIC Housing Finance. So I would still continue to, be bullish on these companies, but I would rather avoid companies which have international exposure, like companies like metal and also IT.
All right, stay away from metals and IT at the moment, but some of the financial names are clearly on the move this afternoon. We'll get your BTVI exclusive then, and this has to do with the high-stakes battle for Binani Cement. Another phase that this one is entering now, while the selected bidder Dalmia Bharat has dug in its heels, the previous promoter Braj Binani has now accepted most demands of the committee of creditors who have been evaluating his offer for an out-of-court settlement. The revised terms were sent to the creditors yesterday, and Anku Goel, who broke the story, now joins us with the update. Anku, when was the offer sent by Braj Binani, and what does it promise now?
Well, this comes after the lenders meet that happened on 4th of April. Now, we learned from our sources that Binani Industry Limited has submitted a revised proposal to the creditors committee there, where they have agreed to most of the major demands that have been made by the COC in the last meeting. They were halting the decision whether they will go ahead with the Ultratech or Binani Industry deal. Now, the important things that we have learned from our sources there on the deal, on the new revised proposal, is that they have agreed to deposit 750 crore rupees to meet the creditors' demand. This is the upfront amount that they are ready to pay now. And the ex-promoter, as you said, Braj Binani, has written to the lead banker creditor there, saying that they are agreeing to more of the major of their demands and conditions as put forward, and are looking for a COC meeting before NCLT next hearing, that is dated to be on 9th of April, Monday. So we are expecting a COC meeting to happen today or tomorrow to take the final call on this revised proposal, as the new proposal has most of the conditions there adhered to as proposed by COC. Also, Braj Binani is urging that they should be accepting the proposal now, the committee of creditors, because the Binani industry is not giving any haircut there, where other bidding that has come forward, where H1 bidder Dalmia is proposing a 6,700 crore proposal, whereas the Binani Industry Limited is giving a higher proposal with no haircut, making it more preferable for the committee of creditors.
All right, Anku. So just to be clear then, have the lenders accepted the offer, or are there still some differences that remain? And what really are the next steps then at the NCLT?
Well, here I would like to mention that the proposal has gone to the committee of creditors yesterday. So we are yet to learn on the confirmation of whether the committee of creditors have accepted the revised proposal. Now, this revised proposal is for an amount of 7,601 crore that we learned from our sources, which is against to the demand of 8,000 crore that the committee had asked for. Also, the committee of creditors had wanted a bank guarantee to the tune of 7,250 odd crores there, where the new proposal confirms a guarantee of 6,851 crores. And important thing to note in this revised proposal is that the committee of creditors wanted interest rate to be around 16% per annum, whereas the Binani Industry Limited's new offer has moved away on that demand and has fixed it on interest rate of 10%. The major demand that the lenders had asked for in the last meeting was they want no further litigations and wanted to be free of them of further litigation in case they approve of the Binani Industry and Ultratech deal. Here again, the revised proposal has confirmed that they will indemnify them of all legal liabilities in future, but put a cap limit of 15 crore there. So now the final decision will depend, of course, on the lenders. If they hold a meeting today or tomorrow and approve of the revised proposal, which seems to be in tune with what they demanded in their last meeting, and also in NCLT on 9th of April, how the NCLT looks into the COC or the lenders' final decision for or against the Binani Industries out-of-court settlement, and thereby taking the decision themselves or pushing it to Supreme Court.
All right. Thanks so much for that update, Ankur. Binani Industries, the stock continues to buzz. Another 5% gain coming in on that counter right now. Just pull up a Dalmia as well as an Ultratech, the other two stocks that are related to this transaction. Dalmia down about 1.5% in trade right now, and Ultratech is down about 0.5% or so. We'll take that final break then before we get into closing. 20 minutes to go. Markets are near the highs of the day right now, holding in and around that 10,340 mark for the Nifty.
Welcome back. You're watching the trading day. The market has cooled off slightly from the highs of the day, still holding out in positive territory. The Nifty above that 10,330 mark for the moment. But that said, Bank Nifty is continuing to hold on to the gains. So seeing about 0.5% up on the Bank Nifty. Heavyweights that were under pressure earlier on, the likes of an ICICI Bank, for example, now seeing gains of about 0.7%. We also have Yes Bank, SBI, Kotak Mahindra Bank that have turned positive. PNB at the highs of the day, I think 5% up for this one, along with the Federal Bank, Bank of Baroda, IDFC Bank, and of course the HDFC twins that have been holding out throughout the course of the day. Rajesh, just come in on one of these heavyweights that has suddenly seen a strong up move just in the last few minutes. Maruti was under pressure through the day, along with these other auto counters that have been down today. Hero MotoCorp, I think M&M as well. Maruti suddenly bouncing back. What's the view on this one?
I think Maruti is definitely on my buy list. I still remember we used to recommend this when it was at 8,500 odd level. That was its 200 DML level. That is from where we were expecting a reversal, and our target, if I'm not wrong, was 9,200. At present, it is at 9,206, but still I believe that there will be traction. There will be a short covering in Maruti. One can upgrade the target to 9,400, 9,450 odd level. Your stop loss should be trail at 9,100 level.
All right, 9,400 is a target for Maruti. Pankaj, just come in on the auto pack as well. Aside from a Maruti that's, of course, seeing good gains in trade today, anything else that you like here? Any picks that you have in this space?
So we have a coverage on the two-wheeler auto space, and amongst that we like TVS as well as Eicher Motors. We believe that Eicher is going to be one of the key beneficiaries of the new product launches that they're going to happen going ahead. They have actually hired someone to look at the product issues that they had. They wanted to have a better product quality. The twin engines that they are going to launch in June, the export markets that they have been targeting currently, it's only around 3% of the total volumes. They want to increase that export markets to around 10%. New product launches, the new Himalayan is actually taking up a lot of market. I think Eicher is exciting times are going to be there. Although the stock is rallied significantly, we believe that going ahead, the company will see a lot of action on the export fronts, new product launches, the twins, and we are fairly optimistic about the stock.
Fairly optimistic about the stock. Let's address the big exclusive then at the bottom of your screen. And we were just talking about this a while back, that even though there is preference towards the Binani Ultratech offer for Binani Cement, some lenders are not in agreement. And now we have more details on that. Two lenders are now in fact opposed to the Binani Ultratech offer. So that's the big one that we are getting you right now. They are not in favor of an out-of-court settlement. Let's in fact go across to Meghna Mittal, who is getting us the exclusive details on this one. Meghna, what's the issue at hand here?
Yes, we all know that Ultratech Binani Industries is preferring an out-of-court settlement for Binani Cement. I have spoken to some bankers who have exposure in this case, and they have clearly said that they are not in favor of the out-of-court settlement for Binani Cement because it will set a very wrong precedent in this NCLT case for the other bidders. They also say that if the out-of-court settlement was supposed to happen, it should have happened before the case came up into the NCLT. So very clearly, they are not in favor of out-of-court settlement for Binani Cement by Ultratech and Binani Industries. So this is what we have, the latest on this case.
All right. So it is a sweetened, revised offer, but there are bankers who are seeing a moral hazard to this deal, despite the 100% recovery offer that has been put forth. Two big lenders of Binani Cement have told BTV that if they do go ahead and accept the Binani Ultratech offer, then it would set a wrong precedence. And these two big lenders are likely to vote against the settlement offer at the next Committee of Creditors meeting. So still not done a done deal yet, still up in the air as far as who will eventually win the bid as far as Binani Cement goes, whether it's Ultratech or Dalmia Bharat. SBI, IDBI, BOB and Bank of India, these four are the key lenders to Binani Cement. So watch out for these names and of course the three cement majors who are gunning for it. But Jay, I just want you to come in on the cement pack as a whole at the moment. I mean, where does your preference lie within the cement space? We had news earlier this week that cement majors have hiked prices by about 50 to 60 rupees per bag in most of the country. The south-based cement players have been very, very active as well. How do you judge the cement space if you're buying anything right now?
No, we are not buying anything on the cement now, but out of the pack would prefer Ultratech if the market corrects next week. So as of now, we do not have initiated any buy on the cement.
So no interest in cement for the moment. That said, we're just about 10 minutes nearly to go for market to close. Pankaj, I'll come back to you. Any picks that you have at this point? Anything else that you're liking for the moment?
We like Nilkamal. Nilkamal Limited. Nilkamal is one of the largest players into plastics, and material handling remains one of the major businesses for Nilkamal. Nilkamal in the over recent past have actually seen new product segments or new business initiatives. You can say they have entered into the bubble guard business. They're also into the mattresses business. They have seen the Nilkamal stores, that is the furniture businesses in the tier 3, tier 4 cities that have seen a lot of traction coming in, and at the rate home business. Overall, we have seen that the material handling business continues to be one of the strongest for Nilkamal, and it continues to grow. The new business initiatives like the mattresses and the bubble guards will add revenue streams to the business, and it continues to grow. We have a target price of around 2400 on the stock based on the valuation of around 20 times FY20 earnings.
All right, so Nilkamal is something that Pankaj is favoring at the moment, and that stock is just about a little quiet in trade today, down about 0.5% or so as we speak. Also, Rajesh, give us a sense of some of the other stocks that are on the move. I'm looking at the banking space. We were just highlighting some of the bank movers and shakers. Punjab National Bank is seeing a very, very strong up move today, 5.5%. Even a federal bank has been on the move. I mean, this one was consolidating between the 90 to 95 range, has seen a big move in trade today. Do you see this continuing?
Shell, technically yes, PNB is looking absolutely beautiful at this level. I still remember we used to discuss when it was at 93, 94, and that time we were saying that this is a good contra level, but somehow I am not that comfortable. Maybe I can take it as an intraday bet, but I don't want to take it on a positional bet. But yes, out of the sector, I think Federal Bank is looking absolutely beautiful at this level. I still remember we used to discuss this when it was at somewhere like 1992 odd level, and that time I told you that it is trading diagonally within a channel, and the level was somewhere like 90, 88, 89 on the lower side, and on the higher side 96, 97 is the resistance. If you get a breakout about this 97 odd mark, definitely I think the counter will head for 10 rupees up move, maybe 8 to 10 rupees, and the target will be somewhere like 107 to 108. So definitely this is a buy. Your stop loss from current level should be somewhere like 94 rupees.
All right, so Federal Bank is a stock that looks good from the banking sector. Jay, let me just get your view as well on these banking counters. Like Deep was pointing out, PNB seeing a very strong up move today. We're seeing a lot of PSU banks, in fact, doing quite well recently. And some conversation around the fact that considering the sort of pressure that banks have been under and the fact that we're expecting a lot of resolutions going ahead, this might be the moment to actually get into these banks for the long term. Where do you come in on this? Do you still think that there's too much uncertainty to get into PSU banks?
I agree with you. On PNB, this is just a relief which the RBI has. They have asked them to spread their losses in 4 quarters. So this is just a temporary relief. But on the PSU bank side, stick to quality companies. We believe SBI looks very attractive at around 250 odd levels. Our buy recommendation is on SBI out of the PSU pack. And on the private bank side, we prefer RBL Bank.
All right, RBL Bank on the private bank side, that stock is not seeing much of a move today, but Federal that we were just highlighting is on the move. What about the NBFCs, Pankaj, because that basket has been moving as well. There was some news around Canfin Home, so up and down on that. Manappuram Muthoot have been on the move. The Shriram group stocks have been good. So Shriram City Union Finance and Shriram Transport have been on the move. You had something like a Magma today, the QIP opened yesterday, so that's in focus as well. Anything that you like in this space? Pankaj?
Yeah. So Magma, we like Magma at this point of time. We have seen this is one of the strongest players in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. We have seen that the new business verticals predominantly into the vehicle financing is doing well. The asset quality has been improving. The cost of funds for the company is actually reducing, and as well as we have seen and we are expecting a margin expansion for the stock. We believe this is one of the strong NBFCs poised into the mid-cap space to do well. We believe we have a multiple of around 1.8 times price to book for this stock and a target price of 220 rupees.
All right, so Magma FinCorp is a counter to watch out for. Rajesh, just come in on a few of these other NBFCs that have been buzzing as well. PNB Housing Finance, Shriram Transport Finance, Bajaj Finance, like we were talking about. Indiabulls also doing quite well in trade. Anything that you're liking here?
I think LIG Housing Finance and Indiabull Housing Finance. These two are my favorite. I see we are quite bullish on Indiabull Housing Finance from the level of 1,236. At present, it is at 1,350. Obviously, I am bullish, but it doesn't mean that one should get into the counter at this level. I think one should wait for a dip. But as far as the LIG Housing Finance is concerned, I think counter is definitely is an accumulation mode. We have seen a low of somewhere like 480, 500 odd mark, where we initiated our coverage of long. I think that was a good contra level, and 570 is an immediate resistance. That is what we were expecting. I think if I'm not wrong, today's high is somewhere like 568. So the idea is to buy on dip. I'm expecting a dip somewhere like 550, 548 odd level, where I would like to initiate long again, but not at this juncture.
Not at these junctures on that. Just to stay with one more NBFC stock, Bajaj Finserv, we're putting this in focus, of course, because this is also the new Nifty inclusion. Up about 0.5%, but pull up a 5-day chart on this one as well. It's had a good week. Its debut week in the markets. I think it's up about roughly 5 to 6% for this week as well. So very, very active. There you go. 6% gains coming in for the week on a Bajaj Finserv. It's saw a bit of a dip midweek, but then has recovered once again. And otherwise, it's been a very good year for Bajaj Finserv. Last year, that's what I'm talking about, for Bajaj Finserv as well as a Bajaj Finance. So those are the stocks that should be on radar. Piramal Enterprises pulled this one up as well. 4.5% gain coming in on this counter. So good goings for this one too. Also pull up an Emphasis, 5% gains coming in over there. GMR and GVK are seeing a very, very strong breakout. In fact, GVK is up 10% in trade as we speak. GMR is up 6.5%. JCorp is up 6.5%. MMTC back on the move once again. Ballarpur Industries was the top gainer on the NSE 500 in morning session, still seeing a very, very good move. Hindustan Copper is up 5.5% as well. Rajesh, after a long time, you're finally seeing a move on Hindustan Copper. I mean, JSPL, SAIL, NALCO, all of them have seen that pullback move. We were missing that on a Hindustan Copper, but finally that's also on the move today.
I think Deep, this is purely a relief rally, or you can say this is just a bounce from a correction. Excuse me. See, we have seen a decent correction in this counter, and if I'm not wrong, 110, 112 was the 52 weeks high, and the low was somewhere like 60 odd level. I think this is the retracement, and it can retrace up to max up to 74, 75 odd level. So for me, I think this is just a technical bounce. I wouldn't like to initiate any fresh long as of now.
All right, don't initiate any fresh longs as of now on Hindustan Copper. This is a bounce back that's basically happening. Let's also focus in on some of the other mid caps. APL Apollo, pull that one up. Pankaj is favoring this one. It's down about 1.5% in today's trade, but for the week it's seen some decent gains last 1 month or so. Also, the stock has been on the move per se. What's the call here, Pankaj? How do you see this stock going forward from here?
So APL Apollo, formerly Bihar Tubes, is one of the leading players in ERW segment. They have roughly around 1.3 million tons per annum capacity at this point of time, and they have seen a revenue CAGR at around 26%. The volumes have also outperformed the other players in the segment, such as Tata Pipes, Rama Steels, Surya Roshni. What we have seen is the company has put up a strong, aggressive growth plan for its expansion and in the capacity to around 2.5 million tons per annum up to 2020. We believe that this company is poised to actually grow significantly in terms of its market share. Currently, the company has a market share of around 14%. We expect the company to see a market share of around 20%. This is one of the strong players. They have created a very strong brand. They have around 600 plus dealers, and it is very easy. Means it's one of the leading players, and it continues. We believe that it continues to sell better in the market at this point of time. We are valuing this stock at around 10 times EV by EBITDA at a price target of around 2600, and it continues to be one of our favorite stocks.
All right, so that's an APL Apollo Tubes for you, looking good to Pankaj. Jay, very quickly before we get into closing, just want to get a view from you. You said you like consumption names, but anything else that you're focusing on outside of that? Pharma is doing quite well today, mid-cap IT as well, a number of financial names, especially mid-cap NBFCs on the move today. Anything else that you're liking?
We are also, liking specialty chemical as a sector, and we believe, Tata Chemical is looking very attractive in that space. With the kind of the management, the corporate governance, the quality of the stock, and at this juncture when the market is so volatile, we recommend and we strongly believe just to stick to quality companies. So specialty chemicals is one of our favorite sectors. Apart from NBFC and consumer lending, and we are strongly bullish on Tata Chemicals. We expect that the prices could touch around 900 plus levels in a year's time.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Pankaj and Jay, thanks so much for joining in today and sharing your views on the market with us. Rajesh, just stay on. We'll take one closing call from you after markets shut shop. It's going to be a flat closing, but it has been a very strong week for the markets nonetheless, up 2% on the benchmarks. Banks have been very, very active as well. We had the RBI policy yesterday that spurred some moment too. But looking at a flat close on the Nifty at the moment, down about 20 odd points from the highs of the day at close. It looked like we would scale that 10,350 mark at one point, but doesn't seem to be the case at the moment at least. But like I said, after many weeks, it's finally going to be a good weekly gain on the index level as well. What's worked for the markets today? You have had a Lupin, again down significantly from the highs of the day, but closing up by about 3 odd percent. HPCL very active in trade today, up about 2.5% each on both of those counters. Titan seeing a bounce back after a few down days as well. This is the new Nifty entrant this week, along with the Bajaj Finserv as well as a Grasim. Adani Ports up about 1.5%. Bajaj Finance had a very good day of trade as well. Tata Steel was buzzing in trade too. Sun Pharma from the Pharma pack again was active. Indiabulls Housing Finance, Maruti saw a big move in the last half hour of trade as well. Indiabulls Housing Finance, Eicher, ITC, Reliance Industries, Tech Mahindra and Bharti Infratel were some of the other active names. Advance decline ratio at 1:1 on the street. You had Bharti Airtel that came under pressure once again, 2.5% down. On that counter, Vedanta was down about 1.5% as well. Infi and HCL Tech were also under pressure. Bajaj Auto, Coal India, L&T lost out as well. Wipro, TCS were under pressure too. Hero Moto, Hindalco, Z, HUL, UPL and SBI were some of the other names that were weak. Banking names very active in trade today, although the Bank Nifty did cool off towards the end of trade. Punjab National Bank, big breakout on this counter, 5.5% up move coming in over there. Federal Bank was up almost 4% in trade. Bank of Baroda up about 1.5%. IDFC Bank was also very active. Broader markets then did outperform significantly, up about 6% each on the mid-cap as well as the small-cap index. GMR Infra was up 6.5%. Piramal Enterprises was up 4.5%. Emphasis, Cummins, Havells, Reliance Communication, all of these stocks were very active in trade. GVK Power went up almost 10% in trade. Sobha on strong Q4 sales and positive brokerage notes was up 8%, closing out near the highs of the day. On that counter, you had a Deepak Fertilizer that was up 6.5%. JCorp was up 6.5% as well. Heidelberg Cement, Trent, Hindustan Copper, JBF Industries, Balarpur Industries, Aegis Logistics, Jubilant Food hitting a fresh record high in trade today, up 4% on that counter. Balkrishna Industries up 3.5% as well. Allahabad Bank had a good day of trade, so did Eros International. PTC India, Shipping Corporation was buzzing. You had Graphite and HEG that were active in trade today. Raymond from the textile pack was also very active, 3% up on that counter. Den Networks had a good move in trade today as well. Sun TV earlier in the day was buzzing too. Canfin Homes from the NBFC pack was also buzzing. Magma FinCorp was in focus. Its QIP began yesterday. Radico Khaitan from the liquor space was active in trade. You had GM Breweries that posted earnings yesterday. Strong numbers came in from that. On back of that, the entire liquor pack was also active in trade today morning, especially with the likes of, apart from the GM Breweries, which gave up most of these gains, you had a United Breweries, a Pincon Spirits, United Spirits, all of these stocks were in focus today as well. Prestige Estates from the real estate pack went up, Brigade Enterprises went up, Oberoi Realty was active, Colte Patil was active, NIT Tech, another good move coming in over there, 2.5% up in trade as well, and Dilip Buildcon to hit a fresh life high along with Jubilant Food. On the losing side then, Vakrangi, another lower circuit, Quality very volatile. This entire week has been very volatile for this one, down 3%. Inox Leisure, Adani Transmission, Ramco Systems, Shriram City Union Finance, KRBL, Pfizer, Sterlite Technologies, AIA Engineering, Jindal Stainless, VIP and Delta Corp were some of the stocks that closed out with cuts. Praj Industries, Sudarshan Chemicals, Future Lifestyle and Care Ratings were also weak in trade today. As far as the weekly action goes, like I said, 2% gains on the Nifty Sensex, 2.5% on the Bank Nifty. Mid cap index was up 4%, small cap index was up 5%. Auto names were very active this week. Metal names were active, pharma names were active, real estate names were active, and consumption names from especially FMCG pack was active. Sectorially, in fact, most of your sectors had a very good week. Tata Motors was clearly the star of this week, 11% gains coming in on that counter. Lupin followed with about 8%, 9% gains. Bajaj Finance, Indiabulls Housing and Adani Ports were some of the other movers. On the losing side, Bharti Airtel, Tech Mahindra, Coal India, Axis Bank, HCL Tech and IOC were the stocks that were on the losing side for this week. But a 2% gain coming in on a weekly basis on the benchmarks. Rajesh, how would you read that sign? How would you read that going into trade next week as well? Because it's been a very, very volatile day of trade. You've had Dow that swung anywhere between 600 to 700 points on most of these sessions, and markets have been reacting to that volatility as well. But what's the sentiment on the street right now? And holding 10,300 at a Friday close, what does that tell you?
See, frankly speaking, Deep, I really don't want to understand what the global markets are doing simply because of one statement. There is a lot of volatility, a lot of choppiness. So my strategy is very simple. I'm just focusing on my charts, my counters. That is how I'm comfortable at. Technically speaking, I think we have seen a good amount of open interest built up at 10,300 put. That simply gives me a sense that 10,300 should act like a immediate support. Technically, I think Deep, for this series, if I'm not wrong, on Wednesday we have seen a sell-off. And in that sell-off, I think there was a bear trap, and I don't see Nifty moving down below 10,200 mark in this series, because bulls will not won't make it happen, because they are trying to protect their level. So my sense is that Nifty will try to maintain about 10,200 on a little broader perspective. On a shorter perspective, 10,300 should act like an immediate support, and as I said, my target for the series is 10,500 at least.
All right, at least 10,500 for this series. 10,200 is the support coming in as well. Rajesh, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in. With that, we'll wrap it up here on the trading day. From Deep and myself, thanks for watching.